Hello everyone. Did you know that we have a Discord channel? Yes, we have a Discord channel open so that you can talk to us with questions, comments, concerns, interact with other Broken Lords fans, and maybe even get some teasers as to what the next episodes are going to be like. So, if you guys want to enter the Discord channel, you can check the link in our Twitter bio. That is twitter.com/LordsBroken. You can see it as our background description. And now, on with the show.
The long dark spread across the surface like a bubbling tar, blotting out the sun. So many died on that day, lost in the inconceivable abominations that reclaimed the landscape. It has been years since humanity was forced into hiding, buried underneath the surface in a bid against total extermination. The old gods are dead, buried in our coliseums and monuments to our hubris and endurance. Our gods are silent, but the earth remains alive. Long have we survived on the fringes of annihilation, banked in all corners of the world, nestled and sheltered in our cages of iron and steel. We were once the kings of our world, but now we find ourselves dethroned in an exile. The surface is lost, reclaimed by the long dark above, and we are losing food and water by the day. Our civilization dwindles with each day we pass underground. Friendships now turn to blood feuds over crumbs of molded bread. Sons begin to kill fathers over barrels of dried meat, and the waters are going dry. There are those that dare dream of other worlds that are not bound by bone and stone, of open lands where fruit once grew, and the streams were once bright with life-giving water. As mankind has done before, they find themselves hustling for ascendance to bite into the forbidden fruit that the surface once yielded. Some say that it is foolhardy, a death sentence for those that dare brave the cavern paths above, which are uncharted and full of terror. But it is those that refuse the certain slow death of the underground world that call themselves the Luminate, the Lanterns, the Lightbringers. They seek to pave the way back to the surface in order to reclaim what was once lost, no matter what the cost.
I'm searching for a rock or something on the ground.
There's a lot of red clay.
Something I can hawk a good distance.
Sure, you can pull some clay from the red earth.
Alright, I'm gonna clue Carrick and Kruskin in case it turns out to be a bad idea, but I do want to see how it reacts to an impact way down the center path.
Yeah.
When y'all are ready. I have a feeling too, but I just need to figure out if this is something we can tiptoe around, or if this is something that is super dangerous and we need to find another way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Alright.
What do I roll to just throw a thing?
You just throw a thing.
Okay, I throw a thing as far as I can down the center path.
Okay. So, you throw pretty far. That blob of red earth that you have uprooted, so to speak, kind of falls somewhere like 50 feet ahead of you. It kind of you hear plop in the distance, and there's no response. The vine doesn't do anything. It just kind of pulses and does its vine thing.
Not especially fond of it either, but
Interesting.
I'm gonna catch dancing lights, and I'm gonna send some lights over there. I am gonna point a finger gun, and to show everyone how serious I am, I'm gonna rotate that finger gun 90 degrees.
Okay.
I'm gonna catch dancing lights, and I'm gonna send some lights over there.
As you do that, the dancing lights hover over like a vein of the vine, and it starts glowing red.
Huh?
Yeah.
Can I shift one of the orb's colors to be red?
It turns blue.
It's photoreactive, at least. The only thing we haven't tested to see if it responds to heat, which a lot of predators down here do.
Heat.
What, like burning it?
Well, I was thinking more like body heat. I don't know if I necessarily want to test that theory. I don't want any of us to touch it.
Lust of the photoreactive vine.
Oh, no. That one's going to be a 3-part series at least.
Oh, yeah. The 3 parts are red, blue, and green.
The It reacts to your lights. You threw a thing at it, didn't seem to do anything, and I guess you guys are going to check to see if body heat does a thing.
You guys are better physical fighters than me. Plus, I can probably cast spells if I'm grappled, so I'm going to move right here.
Okay.
Does the vine do anything?
Twitches.
It may be, Carrick, if you keep the lights out, that the vine will reveal itself as we go, and then we can avoid touching it directly, at least, because I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep one dancing light near myself and Krusk, and I'm going to keep the other two near Embryn.
Okay.
Since she needs the light more than we do.
So you guys want to take left, middle, or right path first?
I don't suppose in all the craziness I can tell which set of tracks is the freshest.
What about the footprints?
Like I said, they're kind of all over the place. Long strides followed by like short, clumped up strides. It's kind of hard to tell where they started and where they're going.
So what? We might as well just go left first and work our way over.
Sure.
Unless somebody would rather go first and work our way over.
So left first.
Again, taking extreme caution to not step on the vine or brush up against the vine.
That isn't a problem. As you guys go down the left path, you see that it actually arcs above and starts hugging the right wall at about like neck height.
Ugh. I don't like that.
Same, so don't worry about it.
That vine, your stalwart companion, your awkward, sporadically quivering companion, it's kind of gross, leads you in a curved path upwards, up a curved tunnel, basically. And it eventually terminates into a large room. If there was ever a thing that would be called a room in this setting, it would be this. It houses a small inlet carving in the middle of the room. It's kind of like a Deus type of deal going on in the middle of the room. There are iron gratings that are covering the floor, see-through, so you can see underneath insofar as your dark vision and dim light allows. And you see kind of like this endless soupy bog underneath the iron crossbarred grating Deus thing that's happening here. And at the top of it looks like there's a foot button that has like a rune on it.
Arcane check. What the fuck, rune?
Cool.
How does I rune?
Arcanic
No rune who dis.
Rune. Oh, fuck that. Alright, that's not too bad.
I mean, it doesn't look like an arcane mark. It looks like it's a linguistic mark. Kind of like a press here type of deal.
Okay. I'm gonna slide up towards where that grating starts so I could get a better view of it.
Okay.
This is all flat, right? It's not like it's not like a Topi map. This is all flat.
Yeah. It's all flat, aside from the Deus, which, it's a Deus. It's a gradual incline.
Okay. And that is like the very center one is the incline?
So there's like an outside square type of deal, which is filled with that iron grating that I just mentioned. The second layer of it, because it's kind of like squares that are kind of like slowly getting smaller inside the iron grating. And it's just like an incline, slow incline of like smaller squares of iron grating that are compounding upon the iron grating that is the outside one. It's just, slightly, it's going up, basically.
Alright.
It's like a ziggurat.
Can I make like an investigation check to see if there's anything that is like not obvious or could give me more clues as to what the hell this is?
Okay.
Let's hope it's higher than my passive. It sure is.
Hey.
Cool. So you look upon this and you can clearly see that someone constructed this mechanism for whatever reason. There's no real language or inscription in the thing aside from the rune that it's not a language you understand, but like it's basically just saying, yo, depress me. You notice that the bog itself is kind of like preternatural, almost as if like it's a combination of a gas vent and something else. You're not entirely sure what that something else is, but it's
interesting.
Definitely don't want to slip a foot through the holes in the grating.
I have a way that I could see what happens if we step on the button.
What do you mean?
I have a spell that lets me transition a short distance through space. If I prepare the spell and hold off on casting it, I can step on the button And if something bad happens, I can leap back to where we are now.
I have feelings about this, but I trust you.
I have feelings about it too, but...
If you think you could do it, I trust you.
So I'm going to ready the spell and, all but cast it. I'm gonna get up next to the switch. I'm gonna very, slowly and gingerly cross the grating in case it's slippery or anything. With my eyes focused on my target square, I'm gonna take an easy step and put a foot on that button and see what happens.
A large ka-chunk noise is followed by a grating noise that happens around you as the room kind of shakes and there's dust falling from the ceiling, and then there's silence after a few moments.
Nothing visually seems to have changed in the room.
Nope. Nothing that you can see.
Oh, that's not... Yeah.
Still holding onto the spell. I'm gonna see, does the grate still seem solid to my foot if I try to put a foot on it? Can I, scurry across?
You can do so.
Alright. Well, that was strange. I can't figure out what happened.
You hear a little bit more of that grating.
Do you run on the other paths, you think?
Possibly.
I leave that up to the
Alright,
party.
let's just check the other path.
I think that's what we should do. Head back down the tunnel we came through. I'm gonna drop the spell, because I didn't need it.
Mind the vine, boys.
Alright, that vine quivers when you approach, glows. Your dancing lights are still red.
Yep.
It glows blue. Kind of pretty, actually.
If only it weren't so suspect of danger.
So, yeah.
Maybe the other side path.
Yeah, seems as good as any.
Alright, you guys go to the right path, and you see a lot of the same. You guys are going upwards, the path curves, and the vine kind of leads you, so to speak, as you kind of watch it from the left side of you. And you go up the path. It narrows out a little bit. Two of you can kind of pass through, but, maybe not more than that, wide.
I'll take point.
Works for me. I like not dying.
Having that bow out, I imagine.
Oh god. Constant.
Alright, so.
Is this a bigger dais?
Uh-huh.
Possibly a full-blown fucking ziggurat by the look of it.
Moss covers the end walls of this gigantic Deus-like structure, and you see rocks kind of lining the bottom basin of the moss, and it's just strewn all over the place. It's kind of wrapped like barbed wire, which is kind of a strange aesthetic. But yeah, the moss and vine entwining, that's the word, right? Entwining kind of remind you a lot of the barbed wire that you saw in the trenches when you were working as a coal miner, Krusk. And there's a cross mesh of metal, a Deus very similar to the one that you saw on the left side, except it is huge. This one is the other one was, it was pretty big. It took up about 40% of the room. This one takes about 90% of the room, and it is just a gigantic mesh of metal and iron links kind of turned into that crossbar type of situation that you saw on the left path, except it's way more pronounced. And it, those concentric squares, that's the word I was looking for in the other room. The concentric squares that kind of spiral inward on themselves, are humongous. And the holes here are way more porous than they were in the left path. So if you step wrong, you might put your feet in some red goo that is underneath you. Instead of green, bog goo, it is now red, kind of smoldering goo.
Great.
I don't like this either.
You can also hear a small drip echoing in the room, kind of similar to the cavern paths that you guys traversed. The mouth of the room is actually wide enough for all three of you guys to stand in the same row. Alright, what do you do?
Can I roll perception real quick?
Roll me that perception roll. Sure is a big room with a lot of metal grating. And weird moss barbed wire. What's up with that?
So to speak.
Is this bubbling red stuff natural?
I mean, you could perceive, or perhaps even be natural about it.
Oh, we're climbing the ladder one rung at a time.
Yeah, that's gross. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna investigate like I did similarly last time. I want to actually walk a circuit since this one is so much bigger.
Uh-huh.
I want to walk a circuit around the outside of the outer square and see if I can find anything.
Okay. Yeah. You walk a circuit around the room. Metal grating surrounds you all over the place. That moss barbed wire thing is giving you kind of, kooky vibes.
Yeah.
The red liquid underneath, you can determine is actually colored water. You kind of look a little bit closer.